I gotta refill my cartridge because I'm out of insulin, so I'm gonna do that on film. This is the cartridge or reservoir. There are different size ones. I use the 300 unit one because I can get more insulin out of it and not have to change as much, which also means I require less pump supplies, which means less money if I don't have to use as many pump supplies, and they are pricey. So first thing I have to do is fill it with air. You know you're a diabetic if you do this when you're giving your infant Tylenol. You fill it with air first before you withdraw it with the little dropper syringe thing. Doesn't really help with Tylenol, but it's habit because I have to do it for this. Fill it with air, and this helps decrease the amount of bubbles that I have in it. That has a little needle on the end. Goes into the vial of insulin. Insulin, so about 1,000 units, I believe, in each vial. So I can get 3 fills out of a bottle of insulin. I use something called a Pedra insulin. I push the air into it while it's this way, and hold the plunger down firmly with my finger because it will start to suck itself. But at this point, it would be sucking air because the insulin isn't that high. So I turn it upside down, and you can kind of see there how it's slowly filling itself. I don't have to just let it fill itself. I can help it along. I just thought I'd show you how it suctions basically it in. I can see a bubble in there already. So I flick it, make sure it's at the top where that needle comes in, so I can push it out. And then pull the plunger down. Still seeing bubbles. Yep, there they go to the top. When the insulin is cold, you actually get more bubbles. So this stuff I did not have in the fridge. The fridge does help keep it preserved so that it's not degraded by the heat, make it less effective. That's always fun when you're trying to troubleshoot and figure out why your blood sugar's high, and there's dozens of different reasons it could be. One of them being your insulin's not being effective because it's been destroyed by heat. So I gotta get it down to that 3 line, right down there. Turn it upside down to see if there's any bubbles that come to the top. Not seeing any. This is always a pain in the butt when you run out of insulin at like midnight or something. And you have to do this in the middle of the night. Not exactly fun. So it's nice that it's happening right now. Well, there, that's full. I took the needle out. There's a needle on both ends. The end that goes on the cartridge and the end that goes on the insulin vial. Then I have my tubing here. I like getting the longer tubing because that means if it falls off my pocket, it touches the ground and it doesn't pull it out of my skin. So that's one reason I like it. There's a little needle in there. Hi Lucia, you gonna help me with my video? There's a little needle in there. I don't know if you can see it very well on that. That's gonna go to the top of that in that little circle there. See that? Okay, so I push it in there and then twist to hold it. Okay, so there's that. But now I need to prime the tubing because there is air all the way through that. There's about 15 units of air, worth of air. And 15 units is about half a day's worth of insulin for me, so that would make a significant difference and cause my blood sugar to go extremely high if I didn't have that. So I need to remember, I take off my pump. I have it on my thigh right now, my infusion site, so it's tricky. Okay, so this is the old tubing. I'm gonna untwist it from my pump. Let's see if we can see the differences here. New and the old. It's up there now. It's all gone. Pretty close to gone anyway, like half a unit may be left in it. Okay, now there is a pin, kind of screw thing, that slowly goes up as you use insulin. And so that's at the top right now because my last cartridge was almost gone. So I need to rewind it. So I have to get on my pump here and go to the reservoir and set setting and reservoir setup. And it's going to start winding it down. You can see it going. Might not seem like much, but like I said, having to do this in the middle of the night when you're really tired, it's not so much fun. Seems like there's always alarms going on. Okay, it's almost done. You'll hear it beep when it's done. Okay, that means it's ready for me to put this in, put it in, but then I have to twist it because it's got a threaded top. There we go. Okay, now like I said, this has air in it, so there's a little protective cap on the end, take off. And then there's a needle on that. You see that? That doesn't go in my skin, that goes into the cannula, the infusion site that is in my skin. It's kind of like a mini IV, so it's a little plastic tube basically that goes into my skin that I have to change every few days. And this goes into that to push the insulin through the tubing, out this needle, into my infusion site, which goes into the little cannula that's in my skin to give me the insulin. It doesn't have to go into a vein, it's just into the skin. Okay, so now, rewind complete. Place and lock reservoir on pump, so we did that, and then press act. Okay, fill tubing. Are you disconnected? It would be bad if I wasn't disconnected and I did this, because then you wouldn't, for one, be able to see when you're done priming it, getting all the insulin filling the tubing. And that also means then I'd be giving myself insulin that I don't need, which would also be a problem. It's a constant balancing act. Too much, too little, not good either way. I could die either way. So, yes, I'm disconnected. Now it's really important that I hold it straight up and down, because if there happens to be any little air bubble, it can make a big difference. I'm really sensitive to insulin, so a little bit makes a big difference. So I need to make sure it's straight up and down so that if there is any little air bubbles left in there, they get pushed out first, so it's not a surprise later that there's an air bubble in the tubing. So now I'm going to push down this button, and you're going to hear it start beeping, and it's going to have the motor running because the insulin is going to start going through the tubing, and I have to watch very carefully for it to come out the little needle here at the end. It's approximately 15 units, give or take a little bit. Let's see it counting. There, it's coming out. So that was 11 units. I forget always how much it is exactly. 11 units on the dot for that one. So if you had air in it, it might be a little more because you're getting the air out first and it takes longer for the insulin to actually get to the end. Okay. And I'll go ahead and show. This is my cannula, my infusion site. I have to plug this in on the bottom. Yep. There's only one direction that it goes, so I have to turn it over to find the right way. Okay, so that's in there now. Tubing up. Okay, now I need to escape because I'm done. Yes, I see droplets at the end. I have to answer all these questions. And then it wants to know if it can fill the cannula. If I had just changed my infusion site, so this was brand new in my skin, I would actually need to prime or fill the cannula too, because that's approximately 0.7 units of insulin that it takes to go through that little tubing. So if I didn't have that and I start giving insulin, again, a missed dosage, it wouldn't be accurate. And then I would go high because I have air in it and I'm not getting the insulin, I'm getting the air instead. So those kind of details. I already have it primed because I am just changing the tubing, not the cannula, not the infusion site. So I do not want to fill the cannula, because then I'd be giving insulin that I already have in there, and that would be a dose I do not need. So it says push escape if you need to skip that, which is what I have here. And now it's all done. So that's what it takes every time that I need to change my tubing and my infusion, or not my infusion site, my reservoir.